Hello, and welcome to the Big Apple School podcast, the weekly English show where we speak about everything under the sun. The major goal of the show is to help you improve your English and, of course, learn something new. My name's Katja, I'm your host, and today with me,
Ken from the Philippines.
And
Benjamin from London, England.
Guys, we're doing our best to be as useful to you as possible, and we would love to get some feedback about it. So subscribe to our pages on SoundCloud, Apple, Yandex, Google, any platform where you listen to our podcast, and let us know what you think. If you have ideas about our next episodes, please share. What do you want us to talk about? Well, give us stars. You may leave comments, ask questions, and of course, rate and review our podcasts if you like them. It won't take much time or effort, but it will help us a lot, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to have some comments from the listeners?
Give us some suggestions.
Please do, yeah. All right, and what about you two? How have you been? What's up?
Yeah, pretty good. Busy week. Happy to be here.
Feeling happy because the weather is getting better. It's warmer now, so yeah, I feel good.
It's still a lot of dust.
There's a lot of dust.
Really dusty though.
I have noticed that I cannot really for a long time without wearing a mask. Because then, I just start coughing and I'm like, ugh.
The funny thing is I wear my mask not because I wanted to be protected from other people who might have the virus, but it's more for protection against the dust.
Yeah, that's the situation now. Yeah, now here. Yeah, we need some rain. So anything new, anything exciting? I know that Ben had some kind of a meeting with the Gopniks.
Oh, Gopniks. No, I was just woken up very early this morning. There was a lovely group of individuals playing around the playground outside my apartment building.
Maybe they just wanted to play around before the kids got there.
They were very active. They were very jolly. It was, yeah.
Oh, it's not like,
5:30.
a drunken crowd. Nothing like that.
I think they might have been influenced by something.
All right.
Under the influence.
Yes.
It's like, what is it called? Euphemism? I think it's called, when you don't say something directly. Right.
Yes, it's implied.
So you seem to be a master of it. Yeah. All right. So, and we are here today to talk about shopping and fashion and style and I love this topic, really. And I recently had it with several of my students. We had the discussion for a couple of weeks, like not one lesson, but like 4 or 5 lessons.
Wow.
Because I love the topic. There's so much to discuss, as you will see in just a second. So, and I want to ask you, so how would you describe your style maybe?
Mine is more casual. If I don't go to work, I prefer to wear just jeans and then maybe a long sleeve shirt because I don't want to show my very skinny arms. And if I can wear a jacket, I'd prefer to wear a jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to shoes, of course, just trainers. As simple as possible and as comfy as possible.
You said that when you don't have work.
Right.
So is it different, how you dress when you go to work and when you don't go to work?
Definitely, because I feel like, of course, as teachers, I feel like I have to look a certain way. And by that, I mean, it has to be semi-formal or a bit formal, depending on what kind of institution I go to. Because before, when I used to work, in high school, so basically I would wear suit and tie. So that was the standard dress code. But here, it's a little bit semi-formal because I just wear trousers, long-sleeved shirt. So that air of being a teacher. But outside of work, of course, just casual clothes.
I have a quick question. So when you said that you were wearing suit and a tie, was there any kind of a rule maybe what color the suit has to be?
Well, there was no prescribed color so long as it's, the whole thing is worn. So basically suit and tie and black shoes, of course. That's it. But no specific color for the suit itself.
But no jeans,
Yeah,
no
definitely.
T-shirts,
No,
nothing like that.
no.
So when you were teaching the Philippines, were you given a set of rules as to what you could wear and what you couldn't wear? Or were you,
Yes, there was.
I think it also depends on, what kind of institution you teach at. Because let's say here at Big Apple School, it's very casual. It's very informal mostly.
Right.
But if you go, to a secondary school or to some kind of a gymnasium, for example, you will see that people there dress a little bit differently because they have to. But I remember a quick story. Probably you won't think about that looking at me now, but I love bright colors. Things like yellow, red, all that. That's why I love my yellow coat. So anyway, when I was teaching at school, we were expected to wear, formal clothes. And I was. But the thing is that I was wearing suits and they were like, pink jacket or yellow jacket or purple skirt or something like that. And once the headmaster, approached me and said, Katerina, well, we have some kind of a dress code, which is, formal. I'm like, I'm wearing a suit. What can be more formal than that? And she's like, well, it's so bright. I'm like, I am not going to become, one of those people who only wear gray, and then they are absolutely unnoticeable. Like, no, I want to be bright. I work with kids. They like it.
You want to stand out.
Yeah. But what's funny though? Later, I think it was 3 years later, I was working at a language school and I had a new student. And the first lesson, we were having a conversation and she was around 20. And she looked at me and she asked me, where did you work before? And I said, in this place. She's like, wait, I studied there. And she looked at me and said, wait a second, you are the one with the red jacket, like the yellow jacket. I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. She's like, I remember you. You were so cool.
Well, it's just nice to be able to be identified by something.
Right?
It's cool to have your own style and to have people notice you for a certain aspect of your style.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you more memorable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's how I would describe my style. Like I always try to have something bright. If I'm wearing all black, then I would wear some kind of accessories maybe. And in general, I would say that I think the style would be described as casual / smart casual sometimes, depending on the occasion. And sometimes it's the, I don't care what I'm wearing style. That also happens. Not at work, usually. But also now I work offline, so that also happens. Ben, and what about you?
I would say if I had to give myself a label, I'd say I like minimalist, maybe utilitarian style, where what I wear has a use, has a purpose, and is not too... I'm trying to think how to describe it, because obviously I like to look good, but I like to keep things minimal.
So you go with the classic set then of plain clothes, something that you can wear to any occasion.
Yeah, so black, usually darker clothes, sometimes a white t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I like plain clothes which can be worn in a range of different functions.
I think things like, dark jeans, black t-shirts, white t-shirts, plain white t-shirts,
Right.
These are timeless. Like no matter where you go, no matter what year it is, it's always going to be, needed maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you wear any accessories?
I used to when I was younger. When I was a teenager, I would have a necklace and some trinkets, like some fancy bracelets. And I remember I would wear a ring too. And I even had, do piercings count for accessories or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, you used to have piercings?
Yeah.
What kind of piercings?
Just the typical one. I have two on one ear. So
Cool.
My left ear. And what else? I used to collect different kinds of hats or caps because I wanted to stand out. I was young then and I wanted to experiment. So I guess that's the only time in my life when I was really into sort of fashion, if you could call that. But nowadays, no accessories except for my watch, which, funny that I haven't worn it today.
Well, with your piercings, did you have your piercings on the ear lobe or did you have it on the cartilage at the top of the ear?
Both.
Both. Because I once had one on the cartilage and it was so painful. Did you have this experience?
Yeah, of course. But, if you wanted to stand out, then, that time I really wanted to. So you could bear the pain.
Did you never had one of those, what are they called again, with the really big holes in the side of the ear? Have you ever...
Gauged.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Gauges, yeah. Have you ever had one?
Oh, I have never had one. Actually, in the previous episode, we talked about, piercings and body modifications. We talked about them. No, I never had that. I do have piercings, as I have mentioned again in the previous episode. And I have, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I mean, if we count the earlobes, then I have 2 dermals in my neck over here. It used to be 3, but alas, I had to take one off. And I have one behind my ear. It's also a dermal. So it's usually not seen unless I wear a ponytail. So yeah. And I used to have, this tragus pierced.
A tragus?
Yeah, it's a part of your ear.
Oh, cool.
So, but then I realized that it's not comfortable to wear earphones.
Well.
And I needed them. So I'm like, okay. Just.
I guess that must have been quite a struggle to put an earphone in there.
Yes. So I think if you wear like headphones, maybe, you're not supposed to have any problems. But I have only earphones. I've never had headphones, I think. So yeah. Wait, what made you get a piercing?
I was 19 years old. So what's this?
But I mean, it wasn't an earlobe, so you knew it was going to be painful.
I didn't know it was going to be that painful.
Oh my goodness!
It was real painful.
Oh yeah,
it
that
hurt.
part.
I feel you.
I went to the piercing shop and just sat there and said, "Yeah, let's do it. How bad can it be?" Woo. I was kicking like a mule.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. So, I have a story connected with accessories because I wear a lot of them. Like I have a lot of earrings, rings.
We can see it.
Yeah. I forgot to put 2 more rings on my left hand, but okay. And 2 years ago when I was coming home from the US, so in Moscow, at Sheremetyevo airport, so the customs officer, or however you call these people, they asked me to come over and they're like, "Is that your suitcase?" And I had 2 suitcases at the time. So I said, "Yes." They're like, "We see that there is some sort of metal over there. Is that rings?" I said, "Yes." They're like, "Open up and show us every single ring." So they made me show them every single ring, tell them what it's made of, where I got it, and how much I paid for it.
What did they think?
I think they thought that I was, smuggling maybe the jewelry to Russia to sell it.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't fill any kind of declaration, I didn't file anything.
It must have been a lot then. I mean, for them to, to check it.
Yeah, but so they asked me and I said, well, I bought this in a secondhand store. This is a gift from my parents. This I bought in a shop in Boston for like $5. And just so you understand, I had more than 30 pairs of more than 30 rings with me.
Wow.
And
no
then,
wonder they stopped you.
And then they said, "Wait, what's in the second suitcase?" I'm like, "Earrings to match those rings."
Oh, God.
They just looked at me like, rolled their eyes, like, just go.
I don't know if you've ever watched this show. It's called Nothing to Declare. It's a really good show. It's about the borders or the customs officers in the UK, and they rummage through people's bags, checking for all kinds of illicit substances and illegal undeclared items, and they always come across British tourists bringing in a lot of tobacco, and usually they seize all the tobacco.
Is it because it's cheaper in other countries?
Much cheaper. So
it's like we don't have a show about it, but a lot of people smuggle tobacco from Kazakhstan.
Oh right.
Like really, and they find all the ridiculous ways to hide it in their cars or everywhere.
Yeah.
So wait, I think maybe it was just a random video or a podcast. I don't remember now, but I remember listening to a story about British customs officers who asked a woman, who was coming from the US to Britain, whether she had anything to declare, and she said no. So, and apparently they found, some kind of jewelry that was sewn into her bag, like the bottom of the bag. Then they asked her, well, you haven't declared anything, that you bought anything in the US, but, yet you have this fur coat on you and you have this, and these are the items that are clearly sold, you know, in like Macy's or some other shops in the US. So, and apparently they later told her that if she does not confess, it would be like, you know, a federal crime or something like that. So she would be charged with smuggling or something like that.
They're very sharp at the border. Last time I came to the UK, I was flying from the US to the UK to get my Russian visa to come here to Russia. And they stopped me and they fully searched all my bags because I was traveling from California, which, as you know, is well, they said, did you bring any marijuana with you? And I said, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to get caught doing that. And
they're like, did you bring any marijuana? You're like, yeah. I prefer local. You know, why would I bring it?
Well, obviously because, California's a destination for that. So they rummaged through my bags and asked me. They were very polite to me, but they asked me a lot of questions about this.
Wow. So we've just... Wait, okay, no, not about style, but what about shopping? Do you like shopping?
My straightforward answer, no. I told you earlier that I will be the representative of people who don't like shopping. Well, you know, I go shopping, I think, once every 2 years. And I also try to do it quickly. I mean,
do your clothes last 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And even more than that, I try to buy quality clothes that will last for years because I really hate the idea of shopping. Really.
So, you know, some people buy high quality clothes or, you know, expensive things in order to have, you know, just to have the quality, to have them last. And you are doing that, you know, in order not to go shopping again. It's like investment in
I don't have the patience because I remember back in the day when my grandmother used to take us to, you know, to go shopping, and it would take us hours and hours because, you know, we would jump from one shop to another. And sometimes sometimes we wouldn't do it in a mall, but in some bazaar or some kind of, you know, like
we
a
had
street
those.
market.
Oh,
and
God.
then you could negotiate. She would haggle. And then if she doesn't get the price, she would move on to another shop. And so it was kind of like exhausting. And because of that, from my childhood, I told myself, if I'm going to go shopping, I'm going to do it as quickly as possible. And if it's possible, just in one shop, because I would hate to go from one shop to another.
You know that your story just brought up memories from my childhood, because we used to have some kind of a bazaar, like, you know, a market. And when you had to try something on, they would, you know, have some kind of a curtain, you know, hold it. And then they would have some kind of a cardboard, you know, piece on the ground. And you would have to quickly change and try things on, which was very funny and adventurous when it was -40 and you had to buy something.
I was going to ask, was this an outdoor bazaar or was this?
Yes.
And so you would
yes.
try on clothes and...
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Shopping has no, you know, seasons like that.
I've never thought about this because, you know that I'm from the Philippines. We don't have winter. So basically it's, I would say, warm or hot for the most part of the year. So I've never thought like, okay, shopping in winter, especially not in a mall. Wow. So
when we had the first, I wouldn't call it a mall, but the same market just indoors. God, we were so happy. Because you can imagine trying something on when it's -40. Not fun. Not fun. And I always felt so sorry for people who work there, because you can imagine they had so many layers on. And I mean, how could they possibly stand there all day long in such a weather? Horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen videos on YouTube of the market in Yakutsk where they sell the salted fish. Yeah, the salted fish and and other trinkets.
That too. Well, that still exists. If the outdoors clothes market do not, that still does, because it's very convenient. You don't have to buy a freezer or anything. You sell fish outdoors. It's gonna freeze, you know, anyway. So saves you the electricity.
Oh well.
All right, Ben. What about you?
I love thrift shopping. I love going to secondhand shops and looking at clothes there and Yeah, I love doing that. When I lived in Vegas, there was so many great thrift shops over there, or thrift stores as they call them. And I spent a lot of time rummaging through.
It's like a treasure hunt, you know?
I don't want to spoil the fun here.
But you will. Okay.
Okay. I just want to provide a different perspective. I've only tried it once, like secondhand shopping. But I remember when I was in the shop, I was thinking, I wonder who the previous owner was. Is he dead now?
That's part of the whole fun. You guess.
And to really, it's crazy because I was thinking, I wonder if that guy had a disease that's, contagious. I know, I sound crazy right now, but those were the thoughts.
when you buy something in a secondhand store, you don't, put it on and start wearing it right away. You usually still, wash it like any kind of a new clothing.
Yeah, of course. But I don't know. It's just... Anyway, it's just how my mind works. I just feel like, oh my God, maybe, the person who owned it before died of some kind of a serious disease or whatever. Yeah, I told you I don't want to spoil the fun. But anyway.
I mean, I understand the worries. Yeah. Ben, can you think of any gem that you found while thrifting? Was there anything, that you still remember or you really loved?
I found some good caps, some good baseball caps at thrift shops. And what else did I find? I found a few good pairs of trousers, because trousers, I mean, you're not really going to catch a disease from trousers if you watch them. Maybe you could do, who knows?
Depends on what kind of disease.
Yeah. Maybe if you buy a scarf, maybe you could catch a disease there, because you put that right around your face and you don't normally wash scarves.
Okay.
Wait, you what now?
Well, do you wash your scarves? Unless,
of course.
I wouldn't wash a scarf unless I spilled ketchup on it or something.
Okay. What else do you not wash, Ben?
No, of course I washed everything. Scarves are usually woolen and you don't really wash them.
Well, there are different regimes, in a washing machine, or you can take them once a year to a dry cleaner.
Yeah.
Like with a coat, you don't usually wash, a winter coat.
Yeah.
But you take it to a dry cleaners. So, yeah.
True.
My experience with thrift shops has been really cool, because Boston has a lot of them and they are real gems. And, in the US, there's Goodwill, which is also, I think, across...
Yeah, Goodwill, it's
across
all over
the country,
States,
right?
Yeah, all over.
And I'm going to expand, my story. I'm not going to limit it to clothes shopping, but to all sorts of shopping. Because when I moved to an apartment and I had nothing to eat from or to cook in, I went to a thrift store and I bought, pots, pans, bowls. And usually the price was like $1, $2, for a baking sheet.
Wow.
For something like that. And then, so there's this game, which is called 5-Second Rule. It's like when you have a card and you have to name 3 things within 5 seconds. And this game is usually around $30. And I love this game because you can adapt it, and play it during the lesson as a warm-up. You can play it with a company, during a party. So once I had like spare 40 minutes before my shuttle. So I went to Goodwill and I saw this game for just $3. I bought some amazing books over there for like $1 or $2, including a hardcover Nabokov's book.
Oh, yeah.
For our department library. And it was not like, all scratched or anything. I thought it was like brand new.
That's why I love shopping at Goodwill. It's because it's not just the clothes. You have so many different items too.
Like decorations for your apartment. Yeah, you just have to check that everything works. If it's something like lights, something like that. But
yeah, I bought a few golf clubs from the Goodwill shops, and in America they have a lot of driving ranges. Do you know what a driving range is? It's the place where you hit golf balls.
Okay.
Where you drive the golf balls, because the big golf club's called a driver. So if you want to hit a ball really far, you drive the ball. So I would buy some drivers and go to the driving range and smack some golf balls. And
wow.
You can pick up some clubs for about $3, $2 sometimes.
Yeah, but usually, how much would they cost?
Oh, insanely expensive. But these clubs, of course, were really old, outdated clubs.
But still.
I mean, you can buy a driver, i.e. the really big golf club, for 300, 400 bucks sometimes. But they're at Goodwill. You pick them up for $3.
That's why I love thrifting.
Yep.
And again, trying to find something cool. And very often I found clothes, still with the price tag on.
Wow.
So, and I was like, oh, that's good. That's, lucky me. Yay.
Well, a lot of people in America, they do this thing called flipping goods. Flipping goods means buying goods at a low price and selling it for a higher price.
Oh,
And
yeah.
This is a big trend on eBay where people go to Goodwill shops and buy clothes real cheap and they flip the clothes. And this is a big phenomenon on YouTube where people discuss what clothes they found and then they discuss how much they managed to sell them for. It's a big trend.
These people must have a lot of time on their hands.
Well, some people make a living out of it.
What?
Out of flipping. Yeah, a lot of people can survive solely on flipping. It's a whole job in and of itself.
Wow. I wonder if you pay taxes from it.
Oh, yeah, you have to, because if everything is done via eBay, then of course you have a paper trail of everything. But I guess if you go to a flea market and buy something cheap and sell it for a little bit higher, well, I guess it wouldn't be profitable as a flea market.
Yeah, because you would have to go there, it's transport and everything. But
So, yeah, people do pay tax on it because obviously on eBay there's a paper trail for everything.
But by the way, you mentioned shopping and it just occurred to me that, because I kind of limited my mind to
I was going to
clothes
ask
shopping.
about that next. So, do you like other types of shopping? Shopping for books, shopping for food?
Yeah. When it comes to, gadgets, that's, more of my thing because I'm more interested in, gadgets, laptops, tablets, smartphones. So I would really take the time, and it doesn't mean that I always buy something. I could go window shopping just to, see and look around what's the latest gadget. And I'm always interested as to what are the new features. Yeah. But of course, whenever I do that, there's also a budget for that because I'm not that kind of, spender who will just, I like this one. I'm going to get it. I'm still reasonable.
I remember you told the story about, how you were in such a shop and then a shopping assistant came to you and tried to ask you questions. They're like, I don't speak Russian. Stop bothering me.
And I would just nod and pretend like, sometimes when they are they really want to say a lot. And, out of politeness, I just nod, whatever you're saying, that's
like,
my only
do you want to
answer.
buy that very expensive phone for 90,000? And you're like, duh.
You see?
It's like, in the movie, Yes Men.
Exactly.
All right, Ben, what about you? What kind of shopping?
I love antique shopping. Obviously, I don't buy all the antiques, but I love going to antique shops and
you have to be extra careful there, in order not to knock anything off.
Yeah.
I mean, coming back to thrift shops, I love exploring old things with a character, with a soul. And I also love going to pawn shops. Pawn shops, Lombard in Russian. So yeah, pawn shops, they're great to go to.
Back in the day, I would go there only to pawn some of my things, but not to actually buy or, I don't know, some things that the owners can no longer, get back.
Yeah.
I wish I had gone to one when I was in London. I think they showed a pawn shop when in Paddington movie. So when I was like, oh, and that's right where I was, but I didn't go there. I've never been in one.
Yeah, there are many in London. Yeah, there are many.
Wait, I'm just interested. You go there and what do you get yourself?
Well, you just look at gadgets. You look at, there's all sorts of gadgets. You can buy, I don't know, DJ decks, or you can buy speakers, or you can look at, I don't know, musical instruments. There's all sorts of things, maybe golden rings. I mean, I don't buy any of the things. I just go to look at it.
Oh, speaking of which, golden ring. So accessories. So when it comes to jewelry, but specifically in my case, I'm more into watches. And I just want to share one story with you. It happened in Kazakhstan. It was, what was the brand again? Oh my God, how can I'm so sick.
What, a watch brand?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. oh God, it's the brand of my watch. Okay, whatever. So it's a little high end. So I was there one time just to look around, and then something caught my attention. It's a very fancy looking watch. It has rose gold and some Swarovski crystal, something like that. It was so fancy.
Oh, so it's a posh watch.
Yeah. And so I took a look at it, and I decided, and then I checked the price, and I said, okay, maybe not today. But then the sales assistant told me, oh, that's the last of its kind.
Of course
And
it
then
was.
I thought, oh my God, I think should I buy it now? But then, I am not an impulsive buyer. I take my time. I'm very reasonable when it comes to shopping. So I didn't buy it on that day. However, that night, I couldn't sleep. And I kept thinking about it. I searched it on the internet. And then I thought, I can't help it. I gotta buy it because I was thinking of saving up some money. But then that thing that he said that it's the last of its kind. And I thought, what if tomorrow somebody will buy this one or, 2 days later? So I was forced to go back there the following day. And guess what? I purchased it.
Oh,
Of course, I don't have any regrets doing that, but I wish I had been given more time to save up the money instead of using my savings. But then again, 2 weeks later, when I came back, guess what I found there?
Well, I don't know. My spirits are telling me it was this watch.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Exactly the same model. And I just thought, this crafty little dude of a, sales assistant. Yeah. He got me. And then I thought, next time I'm never going to believe, sales assistants again, ever.
Yeah, you have to, take everything with a grain of salt. Everything they say. Like, oh, it's the last, an exclusive offer. Only for you.
Did you ever bargain for clothes in Kazakhstan or in Yakutsk? Did you ever bargain? Are you talented bargainers?
Well, I personally am not. It's easier for me to just say, yeah, okay. My mom, however, she's a master haggler, I would say. She would just, like, oh, you don't want to lower the price? Well, I guess I won't buy anything from you, bye. So she's just a master, really.
If you go to Asia, especially Southeast Asia or even East Asia, in China, they do this a lot, haggling. And it's also, I would say, maybe a part of our culture. So I've seen my relatives, they really haggle a lot. And they try to bring down the price to the lowest that they can possibly be. But in my case, I don't know, for some reason I just feel guilty because this person is trying to sell something because he wants to earn money. So I don't try to push it too much. So I still try to haggle, but I don't try to push it to the lowest price possible.
Yeah, I think it's also widespread in Middle East. Yeah. And I have a story of a friend of mine, actually. Thanks for bringing this topic up, by the way. So she went to, where was it? I think she went to Tajikistan. And in there, she wanted to buy, some fruit and nuts. And before going, she had not taken classes, but she had learned, some of the numbers, some of the basic phrases. So, and she went there, and clearly not a local, of course. So, and she asked, how much is that? And the man said, well, it's, let's say 170. She said, yeah, okay. She was thinking what else to get. Meanwhile, another man who was a local asked for the same thing. I don't remember what it was. So for the same thing. And the seller told him, replied in Tajik saying, oh, it's just, 30. She just looked at him and said, wait a second, you just told him it was 30 and you told me it was 170. Excuse you? He's like, you speak Tajik? You can get it for free. Like, it's a gift. Like, thank you for learning. Like, it was so sweet. Wow. But also, I think that if I'm going to go to a country where haggling is so widespread, I'm definitely going to learn, the numbers or something like that.
True, because okay, there's also a thing. I think it's not just in the Philippines, but I guess it's true for a lot of countries. When they see that you're a foreigner, they would tend to give you a much higher price than the locals. So it helps if you could shop around with a local if you're gonna visit another country. Otherwise, they're gonna sell you with a higher price.
Oh yeah, sometimes several times higher. Yeah. And speaking of, trying to save money and everything, what do you think about Black Friday?
Oh, Black Friday is
the day for save.
It's a wonderful experience. Have you ever seen the videos on YouTube of people getting into proper fights over?
Yes.
So
it's a wonderful experience, says Ben. Unless you're in there.
Well, it can be fun as long as you.
Have you ever been, in the shop on a Black Friday?
To be honest, no. But I've just sat back and watched the videos on YouTube of.
Neither have I. I'm afraid of that. I think, oh my God, how many people are going to be there? And then you see all those videos and you think, no.
Black Friday reminds me of the London riots. I don't know if anyone's heard of the London riots, but in 2011 there were widespread riots all over London, and people would just smash into shops and take whatever they liked, and it's kind of like Black Friday, and that's what Black Friday is.
I think what he wanted to say was looting, but okay.
Yeah, it is looting.
It sounds more like looting.
It is essentially like looting, yeah.
Wow. Ken, what about you? What do you think of Black Friday? Do you think it's a cool thing?
It's interesting from someone who doesn't really go there on the day itself. And I've never been to a shop on a Black Friday sale. So I've just seen videos which are really funny and interesting. I find them really entertaining, especially when customers fight each other. It's like, yeah, fight for it. You can do it. But personally, no, I've never been to a shop on this particular day.
What do you think makes people, wake up at or even not go to bed and, just stand in line throughout the night, set up tents?
Wow, I think that's insane. I don't know what drives people to do this. Are they gonna, I don't know, it's just my theory. Maybe they want to get those items and then try to sell them or resell them later on. I don't know. Because I don't get it.
I only have heard of stories of people who wanted to get something expensive, like a big TV, but they couldn't afford it. So they were waiting for the, for the day of Black Friday in order to get it. But yeah, I just cannot imagine. And I also wonder if people from, let's say, Massachusetts, which is also very often called Taxachusetts because of the taxes, if they go to other states for Black Friday too, because normally people who want to buy some kind of a device, they don't buy it in Massachusetts. They go to New Hampshire, which is like a half.
Or New
an
Jersey. New Jersey has no tax on clothing, apparently. So if you're a resident of New York, usually people go across the border to New Jersey to buy clothes.
Yeah, which is like 40 minutes on a train or something.
Yeah.
Well, Mass people, they go to New Hampshire because it's like 40 minute drive.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, they also don't have taxes on clothes. And in Massachusetts, as far as I remember, the tax on gadgets is 25%. So in New Hampshire, I think it's around like 10 or something like that. Yeah, so a lot of people go there to get devices or fireworks because you can't legally buy fireworks in Massachusetts. It's forbidden to set them off. So people go to
that's interesting.
New Hampshire. And then, really the moment you cross the border between the states, you see a fireworks shop. Yeah. All right. So, and what about online shopping? So are you as against online shopping as you are against offline shopping, Ken?
The thing here is I am not a very patient person, and I know that it will take a while to actually get whatever you have decided to purchase. I think the only things that I have been able to purchase online are tickets plane tickets, but I don't think that is that shopping? I don't think so. So it's just, purchasing tickets online. But if we talk about, like clothes or, devices, I don't think I've ever done that. I mean, the other thing is, other than, the waiting time is also the quality. I don't know. For some reason, I just doubt it. I feel like what you see on the website isn't exactly the same as the, actual item. And I don't want people to, cheat on me in that sense. So, yeah, no.
Have you seen all those expectation versus reality pictures?
I know. And this encouraged me even more not to do online shopping. But I must say though, because I do have friends who do this one, and they said it's much cheaper and it's not as bad. So maybe one day I'll consider doing that.
Ben, what about you?
I just had my first experience on ozon.ru.
How was it?
It was pretty good. I picked up it was supposed to be a brown hoodie, but it's actually like a dark green hoodie.
That happens a lot with Ozon.
Yeah, but it was good quality. It was very comfortable, and I was very happy.
Did you pick it up at one of those boxes?
Not the boxes.
Like the stations?
It was just a ordinary. I'm trying to think how to describe it. It was just a drop-off shop or a pickup point. So it wasn't the boxes that you see, for instance, at Leninska. Lenina.
Nearly every underground station now.
They're really cool. I still haven't done that, but I would love to.
I have used that several times because I have one just 1 minute away from my home.
Yeah.
A question: why do you think this company is called like that?
Actually, I have no idea.
Can you say the name of the company again?
Ozon.
Does it remind you of something? Maybe some
Ozone.
other big conglomerate, which is
Amazon.
Yes.
Wow.
So
that's clever.
Yeah.
That was the idea. So they couldn't, of course, name the company the same way as Amazon.
Right.
So they were like, well, we're just going to, cut 3 letters off. Nobody's going to notice anything. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing that they did. And just like Amazon. So Amazon initially, they started with selling books, on ebooks and books. And that's what Ozon did too. And only later they expanded. So basically they tried to copy the strategy of Amazon.
It's really, there are a lot of businesses like that in Russia. I saw this funny episode on YouTube of this YouTube channel I subscribe to called NFKRZ or NFKRZ. And there he spotted a place in Chelyabinsk called McBurger, and the logo looked very similar to McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
And there is in Crimea you have Crimean fried chicken.
Wow.
And the logo looks like
Which
KFC.
happens to sound like KFC.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, not K, but CFC.
Yeah.
But you may use the Cyrillic K.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it would look...
Exactly. That's why. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. But Ozon got quite successful, as you can see.
It is. Yeah. And I also bought a Russian English illustrated dictionary. So a dictionary with pictures. So there's a lot of good
I
stuff
love these
on.
things.
Yeah.
But wait a second. You said you've just had your first experience with online shopping. Are you saying that while you lived in Vegas, you never used Amazon?
Oh, no. Of course I've used Amazon in the States. I mean, first Ozon.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, wait, that does not sound right.
I meant to say my first Russian online shopping experience. Yeah.
Because I have not met a single person who lived in the US and never ordered anything from Amazon. It's impossible.
Oh, I ordered so much stuff from Amazon.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Me too. And and the thing is that it's also so tempting sometimes because, if you have Amazon Prime, it's the next day delivery or 2-day delivery. So you're like, I can get, a rug or some things for the house. I don't think they sell clothes though, but they sell all the other stuff.
Oh, Amazon sells clothes, yeah.
Really?
Amazon
They do?
sells everything. A lot of people don't like Amazon because it apparently destroys smaller businesses. But at the same time, it gives individuals an opportunity to sell their own products anyway. So it destroys brick and mortar businesses, if you understand what that means.
Yeah.
But also, people who are so against it. I mean, I lived in a very small town. So all the shops that were there were boutiques. Like I could not afford a single thing over there apart from a paperclip maybe. But that's it. Like too expensive, everything. So what would I do? save money to buy a single towel. Like, come on. Of course, I would turn to Amazon and buy everything. And then also when I just started working at Wellesley, all the international students and employees were given $100 gift card, as a welcome to buy all the essentials. And I'm like, okay, so I need a vacuum cleaner, a rug, things for the room. It was amazing. 3 days later, I got it.
Well, vacuum cleaners, you could have just bought a Goodwill.
At that time, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
I think I didn't know where Goodwill was or what it was. But yeah, I mean, I didn't pay for it, so still good. Yeah. And one more thing about Amazon. Do you remember the logo?
Well, the Amazon logo, or just Amazon.
Yeah, but the thing is that between the A and the Z, everything else forms an arrow. So they want to show that they sell everything from A to Z.
Oh, wow.
Whatever you name, they sell it.
So Ben was right. They sell everything.
They do. They do. I just don't remember them selling clothes. And I realized that's just because I never actually checked it. Okay. And do you know anything about AliExpress, which is another...
Oh, yes. The Chinese conglomerate.
Popular.
And I remember when it first appeared, well, people in Russia were, still skeptical about like, oh, how come and how do we choose? Then there was a craze for it. Really, people became obsessed with it. So, and now it expanded so much that they now have like offices in Russia and everything, and they have like fast delivery. And because of AliExpress, there appeared some direct flights, direct way, to transport the goods and everything. So, and I even remember like my family, we used to order a lot of things from them. We still do, things like phone cases that are usually like $2 there.
But AliExpress is mostly wholesale, isn't it? It's not really individual items. It's usually wholesale, isn't it?
Nope.
Oh, right.
I mean, you can buy a single paperclip if you want. So...
And how much time till you get your purchase?
That depends. I would say averagely it's around 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe. It used to be 2-3 months. And now if you are waiting for more than 2 months and you still haven't got anything, you can start a claim and get your money back. So yeah, but now it's become way faster. And then in January, I ordered some phone pockets, these things for the cards.
Right.
And I got them after like 10 days. I was shocked.
Not bad.
So if you're ready to wait, this is a good place, to order some things. But then you have to always pay attention to all the feedback and description, especially if you buy clothes, for example.
I was about to ask that actually, like, what's the quality like?
But yeah, you have to read the feedback. And now there are so many profiles on Instagram where they post, outlooks and everything based solely on clothes they got from AliExpress. And they give you, links, some kind of promo codes and everything. So, and you can see, we can say the names and everything. So very often people want to buy clothes at shops like Zara, but the thing is that sometimes they are, way too expensive. So you can find the exact copies of things from shops on AliExpress with the same quality, or sometimes, as I have noticed, even better.
Wow, really?
Zara's quality went down the hill recently, really. So yeah, and sometimes it's twice as cheap, 3 times cheap. So
there's another platform. I'm not sure if you've had experience with it, but Etsy.com, which is handmade goods.
Etsy is handmade, yeah.
Yeah, usually, to be honest, I don't think I've bought anything off of Etsy.com, but they sell a lot of handmade goods, usually maybe knitted goods. So for instance, knitted sweaters, knitted scarves, etc. I haven't bought anything off this website myself, but
I have a friend who recently sold her first thing on Etsy. It was this thing that you put above a baby bed, so that the baby can kind of play with the toys.
Yeah.
What is it called? Like mobile. I think it's called a mobile.
I think they're called
And I think they are.
I think they are.
And the thing is that the toys were knitted. And then there was some crocheted thing. But she says, okay, she had to pay a tax off it, Etsy fee, ad fee, and then also pay for, for the postal services to send it from Massachusetts to Oregon. So, and in the end, she earned like $1. She's like, so does she increase the price and make it way too expensive? But what's the point then? People are not going to buy it. So, yeah. So I honestly admire people who can make a living on Etsy.
Yeah, me too. At one point, I had a hobby of working with leather, and I started making leather wallets and all sorts of leather belts and stuff. And yeah, because I wanted to make, it all started from a desire to make a bicycle saddle out of leather. And
look where it led you.
And I thought, let's try sell something on Etsy. It didn't work out in the end, but yeah, I very much admire people who can make a living off of Etsy.
Wow.
So I think they have to calculate a lot of things, given the fees and the tax and everything.
Consider everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a little bit 3 facts about online shopping, because I was wondering, how did everything change, in 2020? Because people could no longer go to offline shops or go to malls. So, and apparently in 2020, there were 2.05 billion online shoppers, whereas in 2019, this number was, more than several millions lower. So, and then 75% of people in 2020 at least shop online at least once a month. So whereas you can imagine before 2020, I'm pretty sure there was another situation. And Amazon accounts for 47% of all US e-commerce sales in 2020.
It's big.
And I think, as far as I remember, they were planning on hitting 50% goal of all the online sales in the US in 2021.
That makes Jeff Bezos super happy.
Yeah, well, he recently had to give nearly half of all of his income, everything he owes to his wife, who's now an ex-wife. So,
well,
yeah, but he's still one of the richest men on earth.
He is.
I think, is he the richest man, though?
I think he is.
Well, not after the divorce.
Yeah, I guess it's halved his.
This is funny because it's now beginning to sound like a gossip or a rumor or whatever.
Well, let's spice our podcast up, a little bit. We need to, raise the amount of listeners, so maybe that'll work. Okay, and in general, what do you think about trends? And do you know what's in vogue, what's trendy right now?
This is funny because I come from a country where basically people are like sheeple. They just follow the trend. They, whatever is out there.
Oh
they
my
try
goodness.
to...
And then you see those fashion victims who wear something they should not be wearing, probably.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying that it's so ironic for me to say this because I come from that kind of culture who is obsessed with whatever is trendy, but I always go against fashion. Well, I don't know if I have a particular style that you can actually consider as, that's fashionable. I don't know because I don't follow fashion at all. Although I can appreciate watching vloggers sometimes. For example, when they wear Louis Vuitton, the high-end brands. But for me personally, no, I don't really follow that.
Trends are just a part of human nature at the end. Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's just human nature. Some trends are cool, some trends are not cool.
Is there any kind of a fashion trend that you think should never see the light of day ever again? Some trend that you hated?
Fashion trends. Ooh, I'm trying to think. I guess you could take any trend and make it cool. There are always cool aspects of every trend.
Of course, but it's more about your personal
my personal hate, my personal grudge. I'm trying to think. Onesies are a bit annoying. They do look comfy though. They do look comfy.
But wait a second, I'm just interested. Have you ever followed, some trends
And then
Have I
regretted it?
followed a trend? Yeah, I'm sure I have. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, I bought some silly. Oh, I remember. I bought these trousers back when I was 19 years old. They were absolutely crazy. I'm trying to describe them. They look like monkey pants, where the bottom of the trousers comes. It's so hard to explain because they're very.
You will just have to attach a picture in the comment
I will
section,
try to attach.
please.
And I bought these trousers thinking I was really cool, and I just look like such a muppet at the end of the day.
Speaking of trousers, I just remember when I was a teenager, there was a time when elephant pants were a thing.
What does that mean,
So it's
elephant
like,
pants?
They're very how will I describe this one? It's not so it's a bit tight on the upper part of the leg, and then it goes down
those.
the
Yeah.
lower part.
Okay. I think it was several years ago, right? That they were quite popular.
And I tried to sort of follow the trend at the time because I thought it was cool, but I think that's the only trend that I've ever followed.
I can think only of one trend that I hope will never come back. Please don't. I mean, of course, there are people who love it and on whom this thing looks great. It's low-waist jeans. You know, when
hate
somebody,
them?
I mean, first of all, they tend to look amazing only on, you know, people with amazing figure and amazing bodies. Then, you know, there's one big downside to low-waist jeans. When people sit,
Yeah.
you see what you do not want to see very often.
We call them builders' bottoms
Okay?
because usually when builders bend over, that you can see their bottoms. Usually, so that's probably
Builders' bottoms.
that's probably it.
You know, I
That's-
think the reason why they wear that because they want to show off. They want to show.
I
don't
mean,
know.
it all started, and this trend started in the early 2000s because of Christina Aguilera. Remember, because she rocked it. Like, she rocked
I
that
know.
outfit. Well, of course you do. I remember you love her. But, I mean, and then more people started wearing that. But I don't know. It's also, you know, so uncomfortable. You have to constantly think like, oh, do people see what they're not supposed to see? And then it kind of, you know, put so much pressure on your lower abdomen. And you're like, ugh,
Well,
so uncomfortable.
but it looked great on Christina Aguilera.
Well, she was one of very few people who nailed it. Like, really, one of very few.
But it's not for everyone. As you
Yeah,
said, there are
yeah.
others who try to force themselves into, you know, doing a particular trend, but it doesn't really suit them.
Mm-hmm.
So it just looks like a fashion victim or fashion roadkill.
Other than that, I can't think of anything because as long as you're comfy, but it was just like, again, my personal grudge, as you said. I don't like low-waist jeans. So that's why I'm so happy that now you can go to a shop and find any kind of jeans, like mom's jeans, high-waist jeans. Like, thank you.
There's
Finally.
variety.
By the way, I wanted to ask you guys, when you came to Russia, have you noticed anything about what people wear, how they dress? Like, is there any kind of a big difference? Or
What
was-
I've noticed is a lot of Russians, well, younger Russians, tend to be inspired by, I guess, Korean fashion. Do you understand? Do you
Yeah.
understand what I mean?
Yeah.
The kind of Eastern fashion. It's really quite interesting. It's quite trendy in a good way.
Especially, you know, teenagers. But I just find it a bit funny in a way because I thought, like, why do you follow, you know, K-pop fashion? Well, I have nothing against it because for once in my life, I was also a K-pop fan. But, you know, I'm a little dedushka now, so I don't, you know, I don't really like it that much anymore. But I don't know. It's like, but you're Russians. You should have your own style. Although I guess, you know, Russians have their own, you know, fashion. I don't know.
You know, there is this stereotype, which is, well, actually, it's true, more or less, that a lot of Russian girls, you know, wear heels. Most of the time they wear full makeup. And if you are in any kind of a city where people mostly wear sneakers and then you see a lady, you know, wearing high heels, 60% is going to be someone from Eastern Europe, Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. God. So once I took my students to a Russian shop in Massachusetts. So, field trip, yay. And they noticed a lady. She was like in her 60s, maybe. She had a long fur coat and it was like -2 outside. So, high heels. And she went shopping, food shopping wearing
Oh, you
these.
mean -2 Fahrenheit or?
No,
Celsius?
-2 Celsius.
Yeah.
So, and they just looked at her like, Katya. And I'm like, yeah, people dress up for this sometimes. So you can easily spot a Russian very often in other countries. And I always laughed at that because when I was working at Wellesley, I was going from one classroom to another. And very often I was just going and our administrator would shout out of her room like, hello, Katya. I'm like, how do you know that's me? She's like, you are literally the only person on the whole campus who wears heels. So your click, clack, click, clack, click, clack can be heard anywhere. I'm like, I love my click, clack, click, clack sounds. This.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but there is another stereotype, not about Russians, but about British people this time. And I have no idea whether it's true or not. But apparently people think that women in Britain dress horribly. They don't know how to combine clothes. But men, however, dress very fashionably. There's always this association of men wearing suits. So well,
men don't wear suits in England necessarily. It depends which generation you're talking about. Of course, that was definitely the case of older generations, but modern generations, it's kind of similar to Russian fashion in a way. It's not too different. I mean, now the internet has kind of blended everyone together.
I was going to say that, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, people in the West tend to dress in a more comfy style, whereas here in Russia, women especially get dressed up to go to the supermarket,
especially now during the pandemic. Where else should I wear my clothes?
Exactly.
So it is quite interesting. But yeah, I've heard a lot of Russian YouTubers talk about how they were shocked when they moved to the UK or to America and people just dress so casually. People would wear pajamas to the supermarket.
Oh, God. May I? I have so many comments right now. So what should I start with? All right, let's start with what you've just said about moving to the US. That was my situation too. So because I was shocked when during the first week of me teaching at an American university ever in my life, I saw so many students coming to class in yoga pants or pajama pants. I'm like, I'm okay. So, and then I noticed that it was, okay. And there were even, like videos, like when you're Russian moving to the US, first day, first month, you were, full parade, let's say, heels, everything. 1 year later, you wear pajama pants and everything. So, but yeah, that shocked me. But I loved how people in the US don't care what others think. They dress as long as they feel comfortable, they don't care. So, and I love that. That's why I feel more comfortable in the US than I do here in Russia.
So there's more pressure here to look great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yes.
And also there's this whole other layer to Russian fashion culture whereby if you wear certain labels, you can get in trouble. I heard that if you wear Stone Island in the wrong part of town, you can get in big trouble.
I have never heard that.
A lot of the Russian, what they called ultras, the football fans, the thugs, they wear Stone Island, and it's kind of like a badge of honor to be able to wear this. So if you go to the wrong part of town and you wear a certain label, you can get in trouble.
I have never heard that.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, look it up. Yeah,
no.
type in Stone Island, Russia, I guess thugs in Google. You can...
I think there's, I wonder if that surprised you when you came here in Russia. I'm not going to call it a fashion or something, but a trend, stupidity maybe. But when it was -30, -25, -40, have you noticed those young people, usually teenagers, with their jeans, rolled up with bare ankles, wearing sneakers? And very often you could see them, the ankles being red because of the hypothermia.
Yeah. I've seen those and I thought, oh my God, what's happening here?
Right?
You're
but
crazy.
so many people do that.
I roll up my jeans, but I always wear socks underneath, unless it's like a really hot summer day. But
-30.
Yeah, that's...
Like, it was crazy.
That's ridiculous.
And a lot of doctors say, like, yeah, we we daily get patients with hypothermia, and things like that. Frozen ankles.
When I saw some of them, I just thought to myself, oh, well, they're Siberians. So
no, it's what
can keep it up.
I think you can say it's like fashion over brains or something like that. No, it's just
brains.
just stupidity. I mean, you risk your own health just to look cool as you think, know, but yeah.
It's not very healthy.
No.
I guess the high heels on the icy streets is...
It's also,
that
quite
is
risky.
funny. And
I'm very often, tempted to put on heels, but then I think, what if I fall?
Well, yeah.
I'm good at falling even wearing like flip-flops, so...
I don't understand how people walk up steps on an icy day in high heels.
No. I mean, I love wearing heels a lot, and I can wear my heels for like 9-10 hours straight and feeling fine. But yeah, on ice, no. There's this, I recently saw the picture. It's like ladies who can walk all day, in heel, like wearing heels. I admire you. Ladies who somehow, trip over when they're wearing flip-flops. I feel you. You're my sisters. So that's me sometimes. Yeah. So, and I think since we're talking about fashion and clothes and everything, we can't but mention very serious issue that is so widely spoken right now, which is fast fashion. So tell me, how would you define fast fashion? What is it?
I think it's more of the quantity and trying to follow certain trends. Can we name drop some brands?
Yeah.
H&M, Forever 21, maybe Uniqlo, which is a Japanese brand. It's more like mass production, selling to people, gaining more profit. But I don't think they are, these aren't timeless pieces that you can wear that's more classic and more sustainable.
So it's just like, fast food, lower quality, lower price.
True.
You're going to forget that about that, like in a minute. And, I remember reading about fast fashion and I was horrified because apparently in the world, 80 billion pieces of clothing are consumed every year. 80 billion. Like my little brain,
Wow.
You mean purchased or disposed of, or just consumed in what sense? You mean purchased or?
I think it's more about I think it's purchased, but that would include secondhand as well. So, but still, 80 billion. I cannot even imagine a number like that. Like, so in the fashion industry annually gets more than $1.5 trillion.
That's
and
a lot
that's
of money.
even more zeros, like too many zeros. So, and on average, a person wears a fast fashion item for, 5 times, if I'm not mistaken. So, and usually it lasts like 30, 60 days, very often. And I also read that an average American, one person, averagely produces 82 pounds of textile waste per year. Just one person, it's like 30 something kilos, like 35 kilos. Ha!
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. So and why is fast fashion bad? So if we need to explain like what's so bad about it? Well, I can buy cheap clothes and I can throw them away. So what's a big deal?
Well, I guess maybe it supports an industry of sweatshops.
Yes.
Perhaps that's... Well, some people will talk about the environment and the environmental impact, but I guess the worst part is sustaining an industry of people working 18-hour days.
With like child labor.
Yeah.
And there was recently this conflict with China and cotton that they supplied for H&M and everything, that they used the labor of Uyghur people.
Oh, yeah.
Who are kept, in horrible conditions and not paid at all. So it's like a concentration camp over there. So yeah, this is the first reason. And the second, you've mentioned environment.
True.
So
a lot of waste and that's, dumped into the environment. And also I want to add the superficiality of it all, because it seems like they just care about, what's the latest or what's fashionable, but it doesn't really last long. So that kind of mentality is also, I guess, the...
consumerism.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was shocked to find out that clothing industry now is the second highest polluter of clean water. Because apparently you need a lot of water, to dye a piece of clothing and to dye everything. And then the global cotton industry apparently uses more pesticides than any other crop in the world. So, and this also, poisons, since they use pesticides, this poisons farmers. It poisons the water. So, yeah. And then if we talk about fast fashion materials, it's usually not, good quality cotton, but it's usually polyester.
True.
And that takes hundreds of years to break down. And then because of fashion, over 70 million trees are logged every year just to produce clothes and everything.
That's unfortunate.
Bad for the trees, So how can we then be more sustainable, maybe, when choosing clothes or when in
Thrift
general?
shops.
Thrift shops.
Just go
Yeah,
thrift
that's
shops.
one practical approach.
So thrifting, yes. Actually, in Novosibirsk, there's a cool thrift shop.
Oh, Mega Hand.
That's
I went
not
to
a cool
Mega
one.
Hand. Is that not a cool one?
It's not a cool one.
There was not many guys' items. I went there a few weeks ago.
I think that's the problem in general with thrift shops in Russia.
In America, you have loads of men's clothing.
I can explain why. So, for example, and I think this is the case for like 90% of men in Russia. My dad used to have, let's say, 5 shirts, and he was wearing them for like 20 years. And when my mom suggested, like, maybe we can buy you a new one, he's like, why? This one's fine. Does it have holes? No, so I'm fine. And I like it. So there's nothing that men, can bring to a thrift store just because they wear clothes until they're, torn apart and they fall apart because they're so worn out. So that's why. Whereas women are more like, shopaholics and buying, a lot of pieces and then not knowing what to do with them.
I'm laughing because your dad's, I guess, fashion sense or whatever. It's kind of reflective of what I do in my personal life. And going back to your question, so what should we do to make it more sustainable? I guess you have to build your wardrobe with timeless, let's say, staples that you could wear year after year. So you won't have to go shopping every now and then because, well, it's just a waste of money. Personally, that's how I see it.
And let's be fair. How many of us have had this situation when we bought something and then never put it on?
Well, not for me.
I mean, I love going to thrift shops, but I don't actually buy that much stuff. So, I mean...
Yeah, well, we can pay more attention as to where something is produced, what kind of labor they use. Because some companies, they have become more transparent about that because they know that it matters to people.
Right.
So, and then maybe buy higher quality goods because then they are going to last. And, actually one step to that would be getting this capsule wardrobe. It's like, do you know the concept of capsule wardrobe?
Nope.
Is it like capsule hotels where it's really small?
No, a capsule wardrobe is when you get a certain set of timeless pieces and then maybe a couple of bright items. So and you can combine them in such a way, in a numerous amount of ways, so that you don't need to buy anything else until one of these items actually, wears out, for example. This way, you have some kind of a basis. So you don't need to worry about, buying and going shopping and everything. And then you choose this capsule wardrobe, for yourself. So you take everything into account, what you do and everything. And usually, you can combine pieces so that you can go to work, then go to a party, then go to a birthday celebration or theater, So, and I think that's a fantastic idea.
So you can just mix and match, yeah?
Usually people, since it's, basic, it's usually in neutral colors like black, white, gray, beige. And then you usually have some kind of bright accessories maybe, or let's say a bright blazer, so that you can combine it in different ways. So, yeah, I think that also might be one of the steps to
that is a great
being
one.
more conscious. Yeah. So, and when we start our podcast episode, we say that the main goal of the podcast is to learn something new. So did you learn anything new today?
Yes.
And what was it?
Regarding, thrifting, that's one, because I don't really do it very often, but I guess I will reconsider and rethink about it. And, just for me to be able to save up money as well. And for me not to contribute to the waste that's dumped into the environment by this fast fashion thing. So
I learned about the difficulties of buying clothes in an open air market in Yakutsk.
I wish I could say you should go and check this out yourself, but there are no more outdoor markets there. Well, unless you want to buy fish, but then again, it's not a very long experience. You won't have to change, and try something on. Yeah, you should have come earlier, probably.
Swimsuit shopping in Yakutsk in winter.
Well, and then you just have to trust your intuition. That'll do. That's fine. Yeah. All right. So that was the Big Apple School podcast. And today we discussed fashion, trends, style, and shopping. And we want to know what you, dear listeners, think about all that. So do you often go shopping? Are you a shopaholic maybe? So what do you do to become a more conscious shopper? And in general, what style you have? What do you prefer buying, or where do you prefer shopping? Let us know. We always want to chat. So, and if you struggle to understand our conversation, you are always welcome to our website, which is bigappleschool.com/podcast. You can find full scripts of each episode there, so you can read and listen, and it's very user-friendly. So amazing. And if you want to get more content which will help you learn English, you can follow us on social media such as Instagram, VK, Telegram. We're everywhere. Just search our name, which is Big Apple School. So that was Katja, and my guests for today were
Ken
and
Benjamin.
Stay tuned, and we'll see you around.